I hope you can all see. The current slide is online research, which is a task that you can be given by a CEO or your client. And the purpose of research is mainly for decision making. People need research so that they can make decisions about their business. People need research so that they can maybe prepare or plan for the future. So 3 important things that you need to know if you are given a task of doing research. Number 1, the CEO will have to give you the instructions. So you have to do a meeting with the person and they give you the instruction on what topic they want you to research about, what they expect, what are their expectations in this research, in what format they want you to deliver that report, because the end product of research is always a report. If you've never done research in your life, if you've maybe if you are in undergraduate studies or in any college, you are given tasks, you are given assignments, and you are expected to give reports. For example, when we do our assignments in this bootcamp on VA, we give our assignments in terms of brief reports, okay? And those reports are prepared in a Word document. So in a real life situation, you will be doing research. A client will ask you to do their research. If you go on platforms like Upwork, you will find projects where customers want people to do their research. So it is important to follow instructions. For you to conduct successful research, you must be ready to follow instructions. Instructions means that you stay to the point, you remain relevant to what the client is expecting. So deliverables will be in terms of reports. A client will also be keen on a number of words. If you are doing an informative research, maybe they tell you they want 500 words. So you must ensure that you meet that particular requirement. You must provide or meet the number of words they want. Then another very important thing about research is that you must meet the deadline. You must submit the work before the deadline. There should be no excuses. You should not start giving excuses that I had not started, oh my internet is not working, oh my laptop crashed. Customers don't like such excuses. You must go above board and ensure that you provide the required report within the deadline. So I think that is about the purpose. Then we go to tools. The tools that you're supposed to use to conduct research. Long time ago, maybe in the 90s and 80s, doing research was a very difficult thing. You can imagine there were no computers. Now, when computers came, they made research much easier. You could type your document. If you've done physical research, you've gone into books. In the past, people used to use books. You could go to a library, read a book, maybe summarize the points, then you come to a computer and type. But now came the internet. With the development of internet, research is much easier. You can do a search on Google. Google is a tool that allows you to do research. You type in the keywords. Now the keywords should be based on the topic that you have been given. If the topic is about TikTok or the topic is about Instagram, you key in Instagram, maybe monetization, TikTok monetization, then you'll be able to see the results. From the results, you assess which website is credible. You don't just go to any blog, especially if it's something to do with medical. Medical research requires you be very keen on whatever you are using as your source of information, because we have so many blogs that are not considered to be accurate. They do not have accurate information, especially on things to do with medical or science. So the first tool you'll need is Google search. That is assuming that you have a computer. If you don't have a computer, you have to go to a cyber cafe. So Once you have been able to get the results, you take one of the sources, you summarize. And good research is not based on one source. The mistakes I've seen most students do is to base your research on one source. For research to be considered to be good quality, you must use different sources and assess what are these different sources telling you, what is the main conclusion about your topic. So once you have your summary, if it is 1 page or 2 pages, you want to put it in a Word document. And the easiest tool, considering that in some countries you might not be able to get Microsoft Office, Google Docs is a very easy tool to use. You only need your Gmail. Once you have your Gmail, you go to Google Docs, start a blank document, then summarize your findings there. So Google Docs will help you do that research. Then once you have completed, you can always download. You can download as a PDF or you can download in the format of docs. So that's about tools. Next, we are going to look at the different types of research. The first one is called informative research. Informative research is a type of research whereby a client is simply looking for information about a particular subject. For example, I will give you an example of a British client, someone who has never come to Africa. Now they want to travel to Africa and maybe they want to visit a national park. So they tell you, I want to visit Kisite Mpunguti National Park or Kisite Mpunguti Reserve. Now they will ask you, can you do a brief research about this subject? Then give me a report in 1 or 2 days. So when you're given informative research, structure, organization, and relevance are important elements that you cannot overlook. So the structure, you can use a very simple structure. The title, then you have the introduction, a brief introduction, your main findings, maybe 1 to 3 sentences. Then your conclusion. If you are researching about that national park, Kisite Mpunguti National Park, you want to give them relevant information. Maybe you want to state where the park is located and what are the main attractions in that park. So you'll find that if you provide information that is accurate, relevant, the client will be able to use that information to make good decisions, either to consider going towards that destination or they consider alternatives. Now that that is informative research, the next one is comparative research. Comparative research is different from informative research, but the purpose could be the same. The client wants to make a decision about a product or service. Now they want the details. For example, let's say the client wants to make a decision on 2 softwares. Let's say they want to consider the difference between Google Meet and Zoom. They want you to do a comparative study. Maybe in future they will be holding video conferencing. Now they want you to do comparative research between those 2 tools. You are supposed to compare between Google Meet and Zoom. So for this particular research, structure is also very important. And a very good or simple way is to follow the introduction, main body, and the conclusion. And when you're doing comparative research, one thing I want to emphasize is that you can't overlook the idea of having a table. So whenever you get comparative research, just know that you're not going to use paragraphs to report your findings. You will definitely have to use a table with 2 columns. So on the first column, you have Google Meet. Then the second column, you have Zoom. So the first column you compare, you have the first point. Which one is free? Are they all free? That's the first point of comparison. Second point, what are other cool features that are found in those two tools? Maybe you want to give in details about duration. How much time am I given to do a meeting on Google Meet? How much time do I get on Zoom? Maybe what are the pricing packages? You will find those two tools have different packages. Their pricing is different. So once you have the complete report and you have provided the relevant information, you should also give references. If your client wants further information, where are they going to get that information? So in the references section, you must provide the links to further research, or if the client wants to verify or they want to do more research on that subject, they should be able to get that information with the quickest, without wasting a lot of time. So comparative research, you will come across it if you are a virtual assistant. And then maybe I want to show you another last one is we call it data-driven research. So we have data-driven research. So data, in simple terms, means facts and figures or information. And I will use examples of qualitative and quantitative data. So you can be given data. Maybe someone is a professor or is a research scientist. They can give you work to conduct data-driven research. So when you are given qualitative data, you are supposed to find data that is in form of words. Maybe someone has said about, maybe if you are researching about students in the United States, you want to find information about their race, their gender, their hobbies, their income, are they from which socioeconomic class, and so on. Maybe you want to find qualities such as the behavior of students. You want to describe, are they polite, are they cruel, do they have morals, or do they not have moral, are they religious, are they superstitious? Okay, and this you will find in ethnographic studies. Like I've seen ethnographic studies that are done in form of documentaries. For example, I was watching a documentary about the Hadzabe people in Tanzania. The Hadzabe people are the only living hunters and gatherers. So if you are asked to research about the Hadzabe people, you will describe how they are skilled hunters, how they are hunting baboons, how they prepare their food, how they eat the matumbo, and so on. So that's what we call qualitative data, and it's mostly subjective. Now, the second type of data is called quantitative. Quantitative data is where numbers are involved. Quantitative data is where you will give numbers. You will be asked to go to maybe a district website. I'm just giving an example. Go to a district website or database. Go and find the enrollment rates. What are the enrollment rates of students in TVET institutions? What is the graduation rates of students in Kenyatta University? What is the graduation rates of students in University of Nairobi? What are the employment rates? How many students are getting employed? Those who are graduating from university. Do you know you can find that data from the relevant databases? Even data about business. If you wanted to find out, for example, in our Kenyan databases, if you wanted to find out how many new cars are being imported on a daily basis in Kenya. You can get that data. If you want to find out how many Toyotas, you want to compare how many Toyotas versus Mazda cars are being imported in Kenya, you can get that data using the relevant databases. And people who are in business will always want this data so that they can use for decision making. So that is the much I can go about data-driven research. So when you're given data-driven research, just know that you are going to use not the usual Google search. For most academic data-driven research or business data research, they want you to use credible databases like Google Scholar. You may want to use databases that are specific for nursing if you're working with nursing students, if you're doing medical research. So the customer will have to make it clear where he wants the data to be taken from. And in some cases, they will need to pay so that you can access the data. Not all data is accessible free of charge. For some databases, you are required to pay. So I think that's the much I can go with the data-driven research. Maybe if someone has a question before I present to you the assignment. Okay, so we go to the assignment part of our lesson today. So for this lesson, the scenario is of a comparative research. Your client is a real estate brand in the United States. Now they want you to do a comparative research because they want to implement a social media marketing strategy. Now they want you to do a comparison between TikTok and Facebook for their social media strategy. So you are supposed to write a brief report that is highlighting the key findings of your research so that they can make a decision. Do they go for TikTok or do they go for Facebook or do they go for both? So this is a report that can be done between 300 and 500 words. So make it concise and provide references. If you've done your research, you've used sources, make sure that you do referencing. You provide links where your customer can get additional information if they are intending to do that. So I think that will be all. I want to thank you for taking your time and your patience. I'm happy that we are progressing on well. Those who are doing the assignments, you are doing well. Most of you are meeting the expectations, and that's what will get you ahead of the rest. The secret about learning and mastering virtual assistants is doing these assignments, and that's one of the big benefits of attending this bootcamp. You get to do assignments, you get to handle real life cases that can help you understand what is happening in the industry, and you'll be able to master the skills. So that will mark the end of our today's lesson. So we are going to have another lesson on Friday. I will be sending the link in advance. So thank you so much for now, and see you in the next class.